Hey everybody, welcome back to Vanti EDC, and today I'm going to be doing a combination review and setup video for this pouch, which is by a company called Daily Carry Co. I think is the name. Sorry, I'm a little uncertain. I think it's Daily Carry Co. I'm pretty sure it's the name. I don't know if they have a presence outside of Amazon. I got this off Amazon. I was just looking at pouches. I think it was around 25 bucks ish at the time that I got it. And yeah, so what I'll do is go over the features of the pouch, and then I'll go over my setup of how I've been using it basically, and then give some opinions at the end, like kind of in probably throughout, but also at the end in summary. So yeah, so this pouch, it's let's see the dimension. It's this. I think it's a canvas-ish pouch. I don't remember the materials, but it is basically 6 inches wide, 4 inches tall. And kind of the big plus for me, it's like almost I think when stretched out, it's basically 2 inches thick. When it's more compressed, it's about an inch and a half. So yeah, that's the basic specs. And so part of the reason I got this, honestly, was because with all the very overhyped, what do you call it, pouches that are very hard to get, like Data Crew and the notorious EDC AGP. I was just looking for one that honestly fit my needs in terms of the tools I wanted to keep in it. And so this was one I found that the big difference maker for me was not so much I think a lot of the normal size ones are 4x6, but a lot of them aren't as thick. And so having the thickness of like 1.5 to 2 inches was a big draw for me on this one. So yeah, I'll do internal dimensions when I open this up, but yeah. So other features, it has this loop field on the front, and this full loop field on the back. It's only partial up here because, as you can see, there's also this compartment here with a zipper compartment, and so there's that. And you'll notice that the zippers are heat sealed with whatever, like rubber or whatever, so they're pretty easy to grab. They're not going to snag on stuff the way maybe like loop type pull tabs are. So yeah, I don't know if these are YKK zippers or not, but they work so far. They haven't like gone off track or disconnected, separated for me yet. So yeah, those are some of the other features. And then of course in the main compartment, the part that matters most, obviously the two halves. So what I'll call the front half, this half. The front half has these two large elastic loops with 4 smaller sections sewn on top. Let's see, what are the dimensions on these? So about inch and a, is it a half? Yeah, inch and a half wide for the large ones, and maybe like just under 3/4 of an inch on the small ones. And then it has these 2 like mesh pockets that are like, this mesh is slightly stretchy, and so those are also, let's see, those are closer to like 1.25 inches wide each, roughly. Oh, maybe almost 2 inches, yeah. And then on this side, on the back, what I'll call the back side, is we have these 4 elastic loops sewn, and they are, let's see, about 1.5 inches. Yeah, I think they're all 1.5 inches for the large ones, and then small ones are 3/4 of an inch. So I think they're identical between the front and the back. There's just more of them on this side. And you'll notice that they're set to the bottom, or towards the hinge of the pouch, and not like centered on this half. And then finally we have this this compartment back here, this zipper compartment that lines the very back of the back side. So those are all the features. So I'll go over my setup, and just real quick, for anyone that's interested, I'll go over the patches, which none of them are super special or rare. I'm not into the rare patch game or anything like that. I just figured I'd get some that, kind of fit the look or whatever. So I have 2 of the notorious EDC Run EDC patches. They recently did a restock, which it's amazing to me that there's like limited edition patches, but I guess I shouldn't be that amazed. But anyway, I wasn't able to get the all black one, which I would have wanted, so I just settled for the white and the gray one. Here's the Blade HQ logo with the It's Glow in the Dark. Also, and then there's this one by, I think I got it off Etsy. There's a company or store called Man Cave EDC. So it's supposed to be kind of like a Swiss Army knife ish. It says OJ EDC there. And then these two are from Data Crew. This one is supposed to be Wakandan. So, you know, in homage to Black Panther. So it's supposed to be like Wakandan for all day, everyday carry, I believe. And then this is Mjolnir, you know, Thor's hammer, like the cracked version, if you can kind of tell the like cracking in the pattern there. And then this is a Lynch Northwest one, you know, who does clips like this clip right here that I have sitting around. And then this is also off Etsy. I think it's like Lone Star. I can't remember. Some Lone Star something on Etsy. But spicy ketchup from Whataburger. If you know, you know. So anyway, and then I forgot. This is I've had this for a while. This is from Navs, the Space Kitty patch. So yeah, I don't have anything on the back right now, but yeah, these are my patches for now. So those are that. And then what I keep in the front compartment here is these three driver bit cassettes. So I have flathead Phillips, and then basically a full Torx run, and then some hex bits here. And yeah, so these are of course 1/4 inch shank bits, and if it's not obvious, it's mainly for this one, for this Klein 8-in-1 stubby, and it does have some bits in here, but I just have more just in case, because this can only carry 7 in total. So, and then the downside to this one, in case you watched my review of this, or didn't watch my review, I should say, like you can't fit normal size bits in here. These are very short bits, and so yeah, like I don't have short bits to customize what I want in here. So I have a full range of bits basically into cassettes in this front compartment. So in here, what I keep back here is I keep black duct tape rolled up on itself, which is actually somewhat useful. I've had it probably used it a handful of times for very random things, not typical tape tasks, but yeah. And then I have some zip ties here, which I've yet to use, but you know, you never know. Cable management and such could be useful. Have a couple paper clips, which I've never used, but you know, again, what doesn't hurt to have, not adding really much weight or bulk. So that's in that rear compartment there. Now, jumping back to the front side here, I've kind of recently, actually just today, kind of changed up how I have this loaded out. I recently got this Vero Fulcrum, and it's actually one of the Urban EDC exclusive Sagaiha. This is the DLC one. I used to keep it in here, but I'm starting to try and just carry this in my left pocket actually, rather than keeping it in the pouch, because I think I might find more use for it, or like be more prone to using it if I just have it in my pocket versus in the pouch. So I'm now trying having this Klein driver in here, and now this is where the thickness, or the depth, I guess you could say, of this pouch comes into handy, because a lot of these skinny like 1 inch, 1.5 max inch pouches really cannot accommodate this naturally or comfortably, and so having this in here is actually feasible because this is a thicker pouch. So I'm really glad for that. So yeah, that obviously, so this goes in these mesh pouches I mentioned earlier. They're stretchy, but I don't think they're like strong enough in a way. They're a little loose. I guess it also depends on what you're putting in there. So I'm putting that in there, and then in this other pouch, I put my Nipex 5-inch Cobras, and then the Navs like Torx driver and Navs bit driver, whatever they call it. You see the logo right there on the spinny end cap. This is a fun little one. Definitely a really good value on this one, I would say. And so yeah, I have those tucked away in here, and honestly the Navs just helps because this Cobra is so low profile. This mesh is like not strong enough, so like this can kind of slide around if this isn't here, kind of adding extra tension. So that's how I have that. I don't use these loops here in the back, obviously because I have these larger tools here. So I guess depending on what you put here, it would affect the availability of these loops or not. For me, they're essentially unavailable. So yeah, which is fine with me. I'd be fine just cutting them out altogether, but I'll probably just leave them just cause. So now on the back side here, I have my SOG power pint, and I did buy a black one. I gave my silver one to my brother as a gift, and so I got a black one. So there's that. So that goes down here. And then I have these three items. I have Loctite 242, which in this version with like this removable, and it's like a liquid form, it's just be forewarned, this cap is very prone to coming loose, and or the Loctite, the liquid itself, like leaking out from underneath. So if you ever get that, just be forewarned. I have KPL original, I guess 15 weight, I guess is what it is, which I don't even know what that actually measures, but yeah, there's that. So put that there, and then I have a Bic lighter. And you may notice, like, I mean, so my channel name, Vant EDC, I like black stuff. It's ironically, unintentionally, half my loadout has like red in it because it's like the KPL, the Loctite, the lighter, that was all just, you know, that's the way the items come basically. So kind of like this unintentional black-red theme going, which I know is some people's thing, but I'm more just black. But anyway, yeah, so there's that. And then I have these 3 little extra WIA precision, like 4mm bits, 2 flatheads and a Phillips that I can just tuck. I think, did I have it tucked? It's kind of hard to see. Tucked in here, maybe? Yeah, and that's just in case I need that in a precision capacity. They're kind of bound together by extra O-rings that came with this fulcrum, I think. So, yeah, and then I'm keeping this this microfiber cloth came with the fulcrum. I'm keeping it here kind of as a divider, and just, you know, anytime I do need the I need a cloth. So that is how I have it loaded out basically. So my opinions on this, I'll go over, you know, pros, neutrals, and cons. The pros, I've mentioned a lot, is just the overall volume, and like primarily as dictated by the thickness or width or whatever you want to call it. So yeah, like now that it's fully loaded out, it's, I mean, from the widest point to the back is almost 3 inches. So the fact that it's capable of doing that is nice for me personally, because I don't keep this in my pocket, so I don't need it slim. You know, I imagine if you keep something like this in your back pocket, of course you'd want it slim. So this is not built out for that. Maybe if you have large thigh cargo pockets, it could fit, but yeah, would not be comfortable in like your back butt pocket. So yeah, that's a big pro for me personally, is just having the ability to contain the volume that it does, and not be, you know, super distorted and distended. Next, the amount of overall just options for how you put your gear in here is pretty good, I would argue. Now, I would say, you know, obviously I have my particular setup. I have not tried other setups because I don't have other gear that I want to put in here. But, you know, these loops seem pretty small to be too useful for a lot. I mean, I guess you could put like individual bits. You could put like matchsticks or something. I don't know. So yeah, that's not, to me, so like, yeah, well, I guess that's more of the neutrals or cons, but yeah, I'll get into that more a little bit later. Another thing that I think is a big pro is just having the pull tabs on the zippers be heat sealed the way they are. It just makes them easy to manipulate, and then the zippers themselves are, you know, pretty fluid. So there's that. And last, you know, overall, I tend to lean toward, you know, contrary to what the patches say, I do like the kind of minimalist, unbranded vibe that this gives off. So yeah, that's a pro for me personally. So yeah. The one thing that's, I guess, not a con per se, but just kind of an interesting observation is that I mentioned is kind of the placement of the loops is like, so here, these loops are, I'm curious as to why whoever designed this offset the loops rather than having them right straight down the middle, had them right here. I mean, it still works for me, but I feel like you might get a little more versatility with like, well, yeah, I don't know. It's not a huge deal. Like, that's why it's not a con for me, but it is something just to take note of. It's just a weird placement, like here and here, I feel like. And again, I guess if you don't have long tools sitting in these pouches, this placement is not weird, but given the fact that I have longer tools in these pouches, these seem irrelevant, inaccessible. So yeah. The cons. So the cons, I mentioned this mesh material, it's not very strong. So like, it doesn't, like, with the pliers in here, it'll retain them, but like if I were to turn it upside down, like, yeah, it's not strong. So I mean, not that you're probably shaking this stuff upside down, but it's just, you know, I'm sure there's other materials out there that would be have better retention essentially. So the retention due to this material choice is not fantastic. I might prefer just having two like full size, I just realized I spun that on accident. 2 like full size elastic loops here so that you could slide things through them rather than having these as pouches. But you know, this still works for me for now, so I'm not going to complain too much about it. It is a con though, in my opinion. And then the other main one is just, and this is like a personal preference, I guess, not so much a con, but like something missing that I would like is having some sort of like carry loop, I guess you could call it, or like grab loop. That's the one thing that I missed from the Maxpedition like mini that I had, was that it had that little like loop that you could just grab it with and hold onto it, you know, as you're kind of in transit or whatever. So, you know, not a major miss, but just something that I'd like to have on a pouch like this. Overall, you know, I think the big upside to something like this is it's not a brand name. You know, it seems okay. I mean, obviously, like the stitching here is not fantastic, but for me, the pouch is not something I want to be this sort of vanity item or something that is like a recognizable brand name thing. I just needs to be functional for me. You know, what matters more is the tools within it, more so than the pouch itself. So yeah, it gets the job done for a good price. Again, like I think it's $25. So yeah, if you just Amazon like Daily Carry Co. EDC pouch, I think I don't think it has a model name. It's just very generic, basically. So yeah, if you're looking for a pouch with good volume, with, you know, adequate storage options, you know, having the loop fields, you know, decently well constructed, you know, material choices okay for the most part, you know, I think this is a good option. So yeah, let me know if there's other pouches out there that you think fit that bill really well, because that, you know, and that aren't, you know, $100, $75, whatever, because I think that's kind of, the pouches are not something I want to spend a lot of money on. The more I've used this, and the more I look at the feature set, you know, for a while I thought I wanted the Notorious EDC HEP, but I think in terms of the lesser storage options, I don't think that would actually fit the needs of, because these are all things that I end up wanting to have, and this ends up kind of being more of like a knife maintenance kit, honestly, than anything else. I do use the driver, I do use the pliers for other things like the multi-tool, but just like the fact that I have Loctite, KPL, and this mini driver here, that ends up being the things that I use the most, like honestly at home when I'm just like doing knife maintenance. So anyway, yeah, this is it's the Daily Carry Co. I think it's called the EDC pouch or something like that. So yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to throw them in the comments. You know, recommendations on similar pouches, I would welcome it. But until then, thank you. See you next time.